Welcome to Spoiled Vision Movie Recaps. Today, we delve into the thrilling action drama Kills on Wheels, where an individual with a disability finds himself entangled in a world of criminals. Can their reign of terror be halted? Caution! Spoilers ahead. Proceed carefully. Kills on Wheels narrates the tale of Rupasov, a once feared assassin, and Zoli, a young man, both grappling with disabilities. Rupasov, now wheelchair-bound for 3 years due to injuries, crosses paths with Zoli, who's been wheelchair-bound since birth due to a congenital disability. Zoli resides in a dormitory with his friend Adam and enjoys creating comics in his free time. One day, while Zoli and Adam playfully experiment with fire extinguishers in an alley near their dorm, Rupasov intervenes, displeased with their antics, leading to a brief scuffle. Rupasov, however, soon realizes he's gone too far and extends an apology, inviting the young men to his gathering. The party seems to captivate Zoli and Adam, and Rupasov, in turn, offers them positions as hitmen, tempting them with the allure of the pleasures they're experiencing at the party. In the days that follow, Zoli finds himself in the hospital, needing surgery. However, he refuses the procedure, as it's funded by a father who abandoned him at birth upon learning of his disability. Meanwhile, Rupasov receives a mission from his boss. In a desolate parking lot, Rupasov awaits his target. A car arrives and a group of men approaches him, one of them brandishing a knife. Despite the threat, Rupasov, who has lost sensation in his legs since being in a wheelchair, remains undaunted. The situation escalates when they kick Rupasov. Retrieving a concealed gun from his pocket, he eliminates his assailants one by one, leading to their demise. Subsequently, an ambulance arrives at the scene, with Zita, a female medic, treating Rupasov's wound. It becomes evident that they share a history. Rupasov harbors romantic feelings for Zita and invites her to a movie, but she discloses her engagement, leaving him heartbroken. Overwhelmed, he attempts suicide by leaping from a pedestrian bridge, yet fate intervenes, compelling him to continue his journey. The scene shifts when Rupasov receives a confidential payment from his boss, who emphasizes the need for secrecy and not involving others. Surprisingly, Rupasov had been frequently assisted by Zoli and Adam. Days later, at the hospital, Rupasov meets Zoli during his leg therapy session and tries to sever their partnership. However, Zoli remains steadfast, rejecting his father's money despite his mother's persuasion. Following his rehabilitation, Rupasov awaits Zita outside the hospital, planning to offer her a bouquet of roses, but desists after spotting her with her fiancé. Subsequently, Rupasov receives a new contract to eliminate a government official. He concocts a clever plan to carry out the assassination during the official's highway-side restaurant lunch. Rupasov positions himself across the road, while Zoli and Adam coordinate on the opposite sides to facilitate the operation. With the aid of pigeons in a passing crowd, Rupasov executes the mission discreetly. The official collapses suddenly while crossing the street, his body bathed in blood. His bodyguards scramble to identify the shooter, but 3 disabled men in wheelchairs draw no suspicion. The trio makes a swift exit from the scene. Later, Rupasov encounters Zita while boarding a bus, and she hands him an invitation to her upcoming wedding. Unbeknownst to Rupasov, his boss closely monitors his actions. After their encounter, the boss erupts in anger over Rupasov's breach of their rules and subjects him to a brutal beating, offering him one chance to make amends, a mission to assassinate Zoli and Adam. The following day, Rupasov takes his 2 friends on a fishing trip to a lake. Despite struggling through the grasslands to reach their destination, they finally arrive at the lake and start fishing. When Adam's bait is taken, he requests assistance in reeling it in. Instead of helping, Rupasov pushes Adam into the water, followed by Zoli. However, he can't bear to let them drown and ultimately dives in to save them. Upon returning to the pier, Rupasov feigns the incident as a prank. It marks the first time he fails to carry out a mission. After their fishing trip, Rupasov invites his friends to a gathering at his house and confides in them about his feelings for Zita. His friends express their willingness to help him win her back. They also made plans. The next day, 3 of Rupasov's girlfriends carried the man and leaned him against a vehicle, implying that he could stand and no longer needed to use a wheelchair. Rupasov waits for Zita to come home from the hospital. But after waiting for hours, it turns out that Zita is on leave from work. Their plan failed miserably. A few days later, Rupasov gets a mission from his boss to kill a drug dealer. The boss said he would get paid double. Rupasov accepted the mission on the condition that his current job was his last and he would no longer accept any other job offers. The boss agreed. Rupasov and his two companions headed for the target's house. He had Zoli and Adam wait in the car as he carried out his stunt. The guards searched Rupasov before entering the house, although they did not find anything suspicious, such as a gun and sharp objects. Thinking it was safe, the guards took him to meet their boss in the house. When he was in the house and met the drug dealer, he began to carry out his actions. He took a gun hidden in the foam cushions of the wheelchair and opened fire on the guards inside the house, but missed his target. Instead of running away, the target took his gun and engaged in a shootout with Rupasov. But Rupasov is more experienced with weapons because of his profession as a hitman, even though his body is no longer perfect. With his body covered in wounds and clothes stained with blood, he finally managed to kill everyone and complete his mission, then rushed to escape from the scene. He heard the police car siren wailing in the distance when he reached the gate. He tried to open the locked gate with difficulty, but couldn't. Zoli and Adam, who were in the car, looked panicked. Zoli then took the initiative to arrest the police car, while Adam helped Rupasov out of the house. The three of them managed to escape. After that, Rupasov met his boss to collect payment for his work. Unusually, the boss took Rupasov for a drive somewhere. The two of them arrived at an empty warehouse. Rupasov sensed that something was wrong with his boss's actions this time because there was a hanging rope. It turned out that his boss was aware of Rupasov's trick. He knows that his comrades are still alive. His boss was furious and disappointed in him because he had betrayed his trust. He forced the reins around Rupasov's neck, then took his wheelchair out and left the hitman alone. Rupasov tried desperately to loosen the leash around his neck while holding the toes of his shoes to keep himself from suffocating. He tried to reach his wheelchair, which was not too far from his reach. But all efforts are still to no avail. After almost giving up because his efforts were in vain, the rope knot wrapped around his neck finally loosened a bit. He removed the rope from his head and managed to survive. Upon returning home, Rupasov promptly gathered his comrades, devising a plan for retribution against the boss who had gone too far. Days passed, and Rupasov, accompanied by Zoli and Adam, attended Zita's wedding. Dressed sharply in a white coat with neatly groomed hair, Rupasov even showcased his singing talents, earning admiration from the guests, including Zita, who couldn't help but shed tears. Unexpectedly, Rupasov kissed Zita, inciting jealousy in her husband. After the festivities, Zita's husband and his friends confronted Rupasov for his actions, prompting Zoli to intervene. Zoli brandished a gun, warning Zita's husband, and swiftly escorted Rupasov away. In the following days, Rupasov embarked on his revenge mission against the boss. Together with Zoli, he paid a visit to the boss's safe house, while Adam remained on the lookout. Rupasov initially claimed he was there to collect unpaid wages from the previous mission, but the boss refused payment and threatened to unleash his dogs. Rupasov, in response, fired at a nearby fire extinguisher, sending the dogs into a frenzy. The boss launched a vicious attack, repeatedly stabbing Rupasov after the gun fell. Zoli managed to retrieve Rupasov's gun but opted not to assist his partner, allowing the boss's demise. Zoli then seized the money from the boss's safe, earmarking it for his leg surgery expenses. The narrative of the wheelchair-bound killer came to a close, revealing that the entire story surrounding Rupasov was a creation of Zoli's imagination, woven into a comic book. Zoli had conjured a fictional character resembling his father, who shared his disability. Zoli, who had never met his father, retained a photograph of him bearing a resemblance to Rupasov. His comic unexpectedly resonated with many and attracted publishers, marking a resounding success. Zoli sent a copy of the comic to his father as a memento, and the film concluded. The film imparts valuable lessons, challenging preconceptions about individuals with disabilities in society. The character of Rupasov serves as a paradigm, defying the stereotype that people with disabilities are weak and helpless. highlighting their independence and extraordinary abilities. Zoli's character illustrates that individuals with disabilities can nurture dreams, strive diligently to achieve their aspirations, and, in the end, realize their dreams, such as creating a successful comic book and funding their leg surgery through hard-earned means. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification for more movie recaps.